So here you can see today's topic is EC2. Okay, you can just click on EC2. Just go here and just click on EC2. And this is how it is going to look. Okay, so left hand side you can see number of instances. In technically we use, I mean in AWS term we are going to call it as instances. In general term we are calling it as server. Okay. Server and instances, EC2 instance, both are same. If you just scroll down, here you can see zones. Okay, so what is mean by zones is this is region. Okay, North Virginia is a region. So inside North Virginia, again they have multiple blocks. Okay, like you can just like A block, B block, C block we have, right? In the same way, they have again multiple data centers inside the North Virginia that they are naming it as zone. I mean zones. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, like this. They are just calling it as. Okay. So here you can see instances. Just click on instances. So instances is nothing but servers. Click on launch instance. So launch instance, you can just give a name. So for me, let me give an example of test. Okay. So we can just call it as test. And then just scroll down. This is the name you are going to give. So next thing is operating system. You can see OS. So depends upon your requirement, you can just select the operating system. Here you can see there are multiple operating systems. Depends upon your requirement, you can just select. But AWS preferences is you need to go with the AWS Linux. Okay. Because this is their own native operating system, so that you will be having many features. And even if there is some issues, they will be able to troubleshoot immediately. Okay. And next one is architect. So here you can see there are two type of architect. One is Intel based and one is ARM based. So only thing is ARM based cost will be little bit cheaper when compared to the Intel based. You can just go with the default one. Okay. Next one is instance type. Here you can see instance type. So what is meant by instance type is configurations. Okay. You can see number of CPU and the RAM. Okay, 1 GB of RAM and 1 core CPU. If you just scroll down, here you can see different kinds of configuration. Like T2 Nano means two core of CPU and 0.5 GB of RAM. Memory means RAM. If you just scroll down here, still you can see C6A 48X large. So they are going to give some naming. So here you can see 192 V CPU and 384 GB of RAM, 4 and CPU. So you have different configuration. So depends upon your requirement, you can just select the instances. At the end of the day, everything are charged. You can see what is the charges at the bottom. Okay. So at present we are on the free tier. So we can just go with the T2 micro. You can see here T2 micro free tier eligible. So even T2 medium is also free tier eligible. So but we can just go with the T2 micro. T2 micro, okay. T2 micro free tier eligible. Next one is login key pair. So what is the purpose of key pair is if you want to connect to the server, okay, you need to have some credential like username, password, everything, right? So in the same way, here you can download the key pair here. You can, so once if you are downloading the key pair, you will be able to get the username and the password, everything. So click on create new key pair. You can just give some name. So let me give test. Okay, test I can give it as V and download it. So we can just go with the PEM file. .pem means it is a format, and if you want to go with ppk means it is specially used for the putty. By default you can just go with the .pem. Okay, so you can just see a key pair is downloaded. Okay, then scroll down. So for time being, we can just go with the default networking. So we are going to skip this topic for the temporarily. So once if we are going with the networking concept, we can see complete VPC. Okay. So at present we are going with the default networking, like default VPC, default subnets, and next one is security groups. So what is meant by security group is security groups is work like a firewall. Okay. So just consider this is a firewall and this is your EC2 instances. Okay. You have configured the EC2 instance and now here you need to enable the ports. Security group means ports. So now who should access my server and where I can restrict the access. If I am going to enable any particular IP, so this particular IP will be whitelisted so that they will be able to access. If this IP is not whitelisted, then they won't be able to access the particular EC2 instances. Okay. So next thing is you can see here SSH. SSH is a port number used for remote login. So if you want, you can see there is three options. One is custom and one is my IP. So if I'm going to give custom, I can type my IP address manually. Okay. Whether if you want to add your colleague IP address, whatever maybe, you can add it manually. If you give it as my IP, automatically this is going to take my IP. It will take my IP address. So our next one is anywhere. So when you're going to give it as anywhere, automatically, it is going to whitelist for the public so that everyone will be able to access the port. Okay. Everyone will be able to connect to this server, whoever have the username password. But this is not recommended from the AWS as a security perspective. And last thing is storages. So what is the storages required? Like for example, you can see number of size. For example, I need some 100 GB of storages for my server. So server is similar to your laptop. You can just consider. Okay. So what should be your storage size? For example, this is C drive. Okay. This is C drive. I can have 100 GB. I can add one more D drive. I can have it as 500 GB and I can add one more drive and let it have 500 GB. So depends upon your requirement, you can have the storage size. So for time being, we can just go with the default 8 GB. Okay. So that's it. Here is the summary. So number of instances. If you want to have 5 EC2 instances with the same configurations, you can just type 5 so that 5 EC2 instances will be created with the same setup. Okay. And this is the number of, this is the operating system. And this is the instance type. This is the security group and the volume. Just click on launch instance. Now click on view instances. So here you can see status. It is in the pending state. Okay. You can just scroll down. So this will be your IP address. Sorry, this is your public IP address. This is your private IP address. This is your instance ID. And you can see some other information like instance type, what is the operating system, life cycles, what is the status. Okay, you can see everything in the bottom. And next one is security, like whatever the ports you have enabled, you can see the port number here. So networking, what is the VPC you have configured, this we can see later. Okay. So what is the networking, what is IP address, public or private, subnets, everything you can see under this one. And next one is storages. So whatever the storages you have allocated for the servers, you can see all this information here. Next one is status check. So here you can see there are two types of status check. One is public status, system status check, and one is instance status check. So what is the major difference between system status check and instance status check is if your entire system is corrupted, okay, so this will get failed. If you only the particular EC2 instance got corrupted, then it will show it as instance status check failed. Okay, so for troubleshooting this, what you need to do is you need to stop your server and then start your server. Next one is monitoring. So monitoring section, you can just see here you can see all the usage, like what is the CPU utilization, status check, we showed here, right? So if something is failed, it will show it in the graph. And network speed, So disk read write. So everything you can just see it here. And last thing is tag. So if you want to give some naming, for example, project. So I need to know for what purpose I have created project for. I can give learning. So like this, you can just give some tag name. Okay, so that you can identify what is the purpose of it. Okay. So here you can see it is active and running. Okay. So now I need to connect to the server. So simply you can just select the server, click on connect, and here you can see this is the public IP address. So automatically it is going to take the public IP address. This is your instance type and the username. So by default, whenever you are going to create a server in Amazon Linux 2, your username will be EC2-user. Okay. Then click on connect. So now you can see we have connected to the EC2 instances. Okay. So when you type sudo su, you are logging as a root user. Okay. Then yum hyphen y. So yum update hyphen y is going to check any updates are available for the Amazon Linux 2 operating system. If there is any update, it is going to update and it is going to install. Okay, it got installed now. So we are done with today's topic, guys.